Sometimes by Max Warburg. Sometimes we're happy and sometimes we're sad. Sometimes we're well-rounded and sometimes we're squared. Sometimes we're single and sometimes we're paired. Sometimes we're sick and sometimes we aren't. Sometimes we're rough and sometimes we're smooth. Sometimes we're loud and sometimes we're quiet. Sometimes we're tall and sometimes we're short. Sometimes we're striped and sometimes we're plaid. Sometimes we're leaders and sometimes we're followers. Sometimes we're sharp and sometimes we're dull. And as you can see, these sometimes mean a lot. And most of these sometimes many people got. But sometimes can be other times, dull times and sharp times. And when they come in life, you've got to be ready. Because these times are on a go and not just hanging on a wall.
Just one of those people that you always are happy when you're with because they're so happy.
Especially talking with girls, he'd just go up and just talk and be funny and everything, and they really liked him.
Max was a handsome kid. He was a bright kid. He was a personable kid. He was the kind of kid who could see someone's mother, an adult, as a person.
Other boys would just go off with each other, but he was always including everybody. He was funny. He had a really good sense of humor, and he was just really cool.
We decided, well, let's go to Lars Anderson and ski down the hill and take a toboggan down. And that's what we did. We took pictures, not thinking that those would be the last pictures we would have of Max.
We received a telephone call to say that he was in Children's Hospital.
I just thought he'd go to the hospital for a little bit and then come back and he would be fine.
Like he left and he said, I'll see you in the spring. He was just very, very optimistic about it, very sure.
I kept track of him every day from that point on. I'd see him and check him out, say, how you feeling today, and look him over. And yeah, I kept track of him from that day on. Every day I wanted a report on Max.
Nobody could ever insult him or put him down because he'd always be right back there with a great comeback.
He stuck up for me. He never would be like mean to anyone, really.
I think the most courageous thing about Max was that even through his illness, he kept his positive attitude. I mean, when he got cancer, nothing about him changed, which I was really kind of expecting. I mean, I didn't think that he totally changed his character, but I thought that he'd changed in some way, and he really didn't. He was the exact same person.
Somehow, all these people are talking about how special Max was. I couldn't be like that. You don't have to be facing a life-threatening disease to be courageous.
You have no fear, you don't need courage. It's when you have fear and you're aware of what can happen, but you do it anyway. That's courage.
And having the courage to believe that, he could beat it, and that he was going to be a positive influence, and that he was not going to bring people down, that he was going to enlighten people. That in itself is courage.
He was a regular person, just like everybody else, who acquired this disease and was still the same person he was before he got it.
And he always liked to know, he goes, all right, well, we'll get all the medicine stuff out of the way first. And get that done early, like we'd come in at 7:38. Because by 9 o'clock, I have a lot of things to do. Like we have to watch TV, there's games that I want to play, and this medicine game that he always tried to get me to play because he was so good at it.
His courage made other people not only impressed, but tap into their own.
Well, I've learned not to take anything for granted, especially good health.
In his eyes, he still had that spirit that had so captivated me and just about anybody else who had met him. Max didn't say, oh, if only I didn't have leukemia, I could be a great kid. He had leukemia, and he still was a great kid in the face of that. So if he could do it in the face of that, Most of us can do it in the face of the cards we're dealt.
This is Max in the Morning. It's 6:16, and here's Gil Santos with sports.
The sixth grader from the Back Bay is recovering from a bone marrow transplant.
I think it's a really great thing to do is to donate. And every time you donate, you're saving life. I just think it's a really good thing to do.
In Boston, Casey Kaufman, TV4 Eyewitness News Nightcast.
Tell me a little bit about the difficulty in finding a donor.
In the world, there are 6,000 other people who need donors. And if someone gets their blood tested and it doesn't match me, then it will probably certainly match someone else. And every time you donate, you're giving the gift of life. And it's so easy.
Listen to your voice. Trust its words. And with courage, act on what you've heard.